they're at the end of the rope. They don't want to sell. They don't have the energy. They don't have the time. They don't have the money. They are just like, get rid of this property now. I have no choice. And when you walk in there and you see a person that's owner occupied and it looks like that, lowball 'em.
Yeah.
Because
Lowball the shit out of them from
unless it's my listing, all
four
right,
different
then give me my
places.
asking price. I know what I'm doing.
This episode of the Under the Table podcast is brought to you by Shrubs.me, your all-in-one digital hub. Share files, links, videos, and more from one beautiful customizable page. Picture a cross between Dropbox, Linktree, and Patreon. Get your free account with 2.5 gigabytes of cloud storage today at Shrubs.me. What a week, TK.
Uh,
Is this like the least fun real estate market of all time? Or is this really like this is great for you?
no, it is absolutely tiring. I mean, to
Exhausting.
put a deal together now is just pulling teeth. Once you get the deal together, you got to promise all this other stuff in order to be able to massage the person to even want
Yeah,
to go through with it.
right.
Um, and then you've got to, fulfill on all those promises. Otherwise, they don't
Yeah.
close. And then to
What
get
if
somebody to close, you got to make sure that they got the money. I just closed
right.
one yesterday after a 3 month extension. It was a good one, and it was like desperate times there, but we got the money. Like my sellers are happy. They
Yeah.
got so lucky.
What if I pack everything for you? Right? What if I finish the basement for you? Then will you sell it? Then
Well,
are you
those are the
good?
type of things, right? It's just like, we're gonna
How about I lend you all the money?
we basically have two tenants in this property, and that one of them wants to stay, but she wants to now sign a lower rent. But the seller guaranteed that she was going to stay, but now she's changed her story.
Yeah.
The other one is we knew they were going to leave, but the market's gone down on the rent. So it's kind of like, what are we going to do? Like, we got
Mm.
to try to find a tenant at that price. Otherwise, it affects the seller, right? Which we knew the risks of. Like, we'd gone through all the stuff. The price we got was good. So we knew what we were going into. But it's kind of just like, great. Like, now we got to deal with that. And so it's like, you get the deal firm, you get it done, but you still got all this other work to do.
There
I
is
got another one that was a lease back of one of the units. And that tenant actually agreed to pay more rent.
You're not subscribed? You're watching this channel, you're not. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hit the subscribe button! Ah!
one
Right?
wants less, one wants more. How does that
He
work?
wanted to stay. He agreed to pay more. Bottom line, that's what it was. They're working on the lease right now, but then like, well, what about his income? What about his, all these different things that should have been done initially come up after everyone says it's no problem. Everyone says it's no problem when you're signing the paperwork.
Yeah, nothing's a problem
Don't
when you
worry, we're gonna take
sure.
care of this afterwards. But like once the paperwork's signed, then everyone goes, oh, well, we want these. We have these demands. We have that demand.
Yeah.
And it becomes a
Well,
challenge. But
the
they're all firm
lawyers.
deals. There's no the clauses the way they're wording is it can't no one can back out. It's just there could be a concession made on one side. So you just try to get your clients to not
Nobody
screw it up.
can
Just do what you
back
got.
out.
Just you said you were going to do this deal, and now you got to do it.
People are doing some weird and wacky stuff out there because it's weird out there.
They know it. The buyers know the market.
The buyers know the market. No, I think
Yeah.
the buyers may think they know the market, but I think people are just in a very, very different frame of mind these days. I think people are coming at it from a fear perspective. People are approaching the sale of their house. Most of it, I mean, we've talked about it a million times. The people that are selling right now, they're likely not in a beautiful position, right? They're not sitting there going, this would just be the ultimate time to sell this thing. It's been a good ride and we're just, it's time for the next stage of our life. Most people are like, fuck, I got to sell the house now. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Or fuck, I got a better job offer, somewhere where the cost of living is less expensive or all kinds of shit. But
I'll tell you
like,
today. I'll tell you today's appointment. 80-year-old couple.
yeah, like they've been a couple for 80 years
No,
or they're 80
lived in
years
that
old.
house for 50 years, and they're in their 80s.
They're in their 80s. Okay.
They've had four agents already for the last 2 years. I show up there this morning at 10 o'clock. Okay. Big property, Mississauga. Beautiful lot, beautiful house, just 50-year-old finishes. And I already see people walking outside, two agents with binders in their hands. I'm like, clearly these are agents. They smell like real estate. So I pull up and the sellers pull up. I'm in the car, the sellers pull up. I come out, I say, hey, you guys got, a couple of us here at the same time. Understand, they were here first. Go talk to them. We'll talk to you afterwards. I said, I'm from Frank Leo and Associates, and this is who I am. And the other agent, the seller says to the other agent, hey, well, we called you guys because you're professionals. We want to know, what our house is worth and everything else like that. And the guy looks at me, goes, he's the professional. He's from Frank Leo and Associates, right? So I was like, probably not a good start for you, buddy, right? But long story short is, I can't help these people. They were listed at 5.5 million, 5 million, 4.5, and dude, there's just no way that they're gonna get more than 2 or 3 million for this house, and
Yikes.
that's to a builder. There's no builders out there right now, that's to a builder who's gonna sever the lot and all that kind of stuff. Those guys don't
Yeah.
even exist right
In
now,
2021, which
right?
it was dumb back then.
And so I told, but think about it. They're 80 years old. They're in a retirement home
Yeah, what are
already.
they-
The house is empty,
and
and they're
paid
hanging
for.
on. And they're paid for. And they're like, we don't need the money. I'm like, oh, keep the house. I said, great. I said, I'm not gonna lie to you just to
Rent
get
it.
your listing, because you can see what each agent did was they took them down 500,000. Each
Mhm.
agent goes in and says, I'll take you down 500,000. I'll take you down 500,000. I'll take you down until eventually someone gets it. But I don't want to be the next guy in line that's not gonna sell it. How am I helping them there? I told
Yeah.
them the truth. That's it.
They need to
So
lease
I
it.
didn't get they basically asked me to leave the house today. As soon as that was like I was like trying to explain to them land values of how like one lot in their area a builder needs to pay $1 million for, and you're selling a house that potentially could have four, but really it's only guaranteed to have two. What would you pay if you're a builder? And he was just like, great to meet you. All right, thank you very much. See you later. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Here's what the reality is. And they're 80 years old, Daryl. If they get two
What does
million or
that
three
mean?
million or 4 million, where are they gonna spend the money?
Hmm.
They're at the retirement home already.
Hmm. Well, they must have, some offshoots or some children or
Possible.
something.
But now they
Some
have to come. So they said we have to come here every 48 hours, otherwise our insurance is canceled. First of all, let the thing burn. It's land value only here. Okay,
let
cancel
the
your
thing burn.
insurance.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are they in it? No, they're in the
no, they're in
retirement
the
home.
retirement home.
So this thing
And
just sitting there.
second thought is like, guys, like you're wasting your life here. Like this is like the end of your life, and you should be enjoying it at the retirement, popcorn and movies and all sorts of stuff. Instead, you're checking on your house because you think it's worth $4 million when it's worth half.
Can you eat popcorn in a retirement home? It seems to me that would be not a good idea with
If you
the
got real teeth, they'll give
what's
you
the
popcorn.
chance?
If
What's
you
the
don't have real
chances?
teeth, then they won't give it to you.
Well, if you don't have a teeth issue, then you got some gastro issue for sure. Like popcorn
Something.
is
If you
not
take
a
your
good
pill before
idea.
the popcorn, you can
Maybe,
eat the popcorn.
maybe if you take your pill
Jim,
first.
Jim, take the pill first, and I'll bring you the popcorn, but no butter.
You
What?
throw up every time you have popcorn, Fred.
I'm not putting
Stop
that much
it.
butter on it again, Jim.
Right? This
Your
is what
doctor told
happened.
you your cholesterol's high.
Fucking
Yeah.
movie night's a nightmare
I
for
heard
them.
those old people are pretty horny, actually. I heard this is like a
How did
thing.
This episode of the Under the Table podcast is brought to you by Shrubs.me, your all-in-one digital hub. Share files, links, videos, and more from one beautiful customizable page. Picture a cross between Dropbox, Linktree, and Patreon. Get your free account with 2.5 gigabytes of cloud storage today at Shrubs.me. I've heard that is a thing too,
They-
and what
they
a
take
perfect
those-
time to bring on, our
The
guests,
best real estate podcasters in
right?
the
Well,
world.
we're talking about horny elderly people. I mean,
Yeah.
what doesn't that just make you think of Steve Karish right off the hop there?
Well, I think those people should be able to do whatever they want. Go out with a bang. You know what I mean? Don't think that there's
Going out
You
with
know,
a bang is a great
going
way of
out
putting
with a
it.
bang. Steve is looking into the sky here. What's going on, boys?
You guys walked
Look at the
into
gray
a
shirts
great
they got here.
conversation. Great
I did-
conversation.
Steve was here too. I didn't know Steve was going to be here.
Sorry, guys.
We
Oh my god!
you guys are coordinated with the shirts there.
We just have so little room for guests these days. So,
we got a Karish mug. We got gray shirts. We got
What conversation did we walk into here? What were you guys talking about?
So TK, who has not let me finish one sentence yet since we started, and you
What
can
an
go
asshole.
back
I
and
can't
you
believe
Sorry,
he would ever
Darryl,
do that
Darryl,
to
stop.
you. What a
Stop.
jerk.
TK, what did you have to say?
old people in retirement homes having sex. That's what we were talking about.
Oh, for sure. What
It's a
else
thing.
you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Daryl. See, that's why I don't let him talk, because there's
don't-
not much to say.
I got
you
a
know?
He just
feeling-
never finishes a sentence anyway, so I don't understand why. Like, what's the big deal?
No
I
coordinated
know.
effort here, right?
We're talking about how the market's just so easy right now, and all my listings are selling, and buyers just write up full price offers without question. So over asking, no problems,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's tough out in BC right now, Steve, right?
Well, Tom was bitching and whining about all of his properties not selling, and I don't seem to have that problem right now. The problem I'm having is not enough listings. That's for me personally.
What?
Our board,
right.
on the other hand,
Let's send
What?
Steve packing. Let's just do the show with Tom today.
It's
We don't need to hear that
rainbows
positivity.
and unicorns out in BC.
no, just getting the price down low enough so it goes.
right.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
ultimately what it takes.
You
Yep.
put enough videos out there that tell people that the price is out to lunch and they need to lower the price, and everybody needs to lower the price. And eventually people come to you and they say, you know what? I think, Steve, we're ready to lower
I
our
wish
price.
that much of my business was from the videos. A good portion of my business is, but not that much of my video. It's still repeat and referral is most of the business.
Yeah. Well, this is the answer, right? I mean, the market's tough. Buyers want to pay, the best value they can in any market. They're always going to shop around and find whatever makes sense for them. And if they got a lot of options and there's a better option out there, they're going to buy that one. Like it's simple. We don't control the prices. If we did, then my sellers would sell high and my buyers would buy low and everyone would love me.
I thought it was all our fault though that the prices were high. The realtors. It was the realtors' fault, wasn't it? 2, 3, 4 years ago, it was the realtors' fault.
I think it's our fault always. Yeah. If things go well, they did a really great job. If things don't go well, then it's our fault.
Tom
Ultimately.
Story's fault for sure. He's been
It's-
doing the social media forever, the pumper.
Yeah.
Pumping for it.
You know what? I found it interesting right now. There's a few things that are happening. The first one is like I was just telling Steve this before we jumped on, but we had 2 condos that we had on the market since earlier this year that I had just come to the conclusion of like, I don't think these are going to sell. It's not going to happen. And we went down in price, and both of them, from initial price to sale price, there was probably a $50,000 delta where they ended up firming up. Both of these people wanted to sell their condo to buy a house. And both of them, within a week, after taking 5 months for their condos to sell, both of them then went and bought a house 1 week after the firm up of their condo.
Beautiful.
So I just feel like there's so many the transaction volume is extremely low.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a good couple thousand transactions stuck in those 7,000 condo listings that can't sell to buy the next one.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a couple of those too. I got one sold conditional now where they're like chomping at the bit to buy.
Yeah, they want to see
Yeah.
places. You're like, hold on, wait till
Right?
it firms up.
Friday, tomorrow, the condition's up. I'm like, guys, like chill, but that's
Are
what
you
it
guys
is.
seeing
Yeah.
more fall
They're ready to
apart?
buy.
Because Tom was always bragging to me for the longest time about like once it like got an accepted offer, almost none fell apart. And we've always had lots fall apart between accepted offer and subject removal date.
Yeah.
So are you guys seeing like more falling apart, or is that just Tom's business? He was just
It's not.
so
It's not like
wonderful
it's not like it's it's an epidemic of the sorts. But yeah, for sure.
For us, it's 1 in 5 traditionally.
No,
So if I get
TK
5
was-
accepted offers, one's
Our,
falling
ours would be like 1 in 100 traditionally, and now it's maybe like 1 in 10.
apart.
No,
Something like that.
No, seriously,
But-
it used
but
to
it-
be if it goes conditional, you're firming up. Like you were
Yeah.
pretty confident,
Really?
even with condos. Yeah,
Oh my
for a
goodness,
long
not
time.
here.
Because
For a
people
long
in
time,
Toronto
yeah.
get pre-approved, Steve, before they go see a house.
No, but
Well,
TK
I-
before was even thinking like the fact that it's in the back of his head, like I hope this fucking closes. I hope this thing closes, right? Everybody's coming up to closing is going like, God, I hope something crazy doesn't happen because crazy shit's happening all over the place. Well, maybe not in Surrey or wherever the hell you are, where nobody even lives, but in Toronto, like a real city, there's a lot of volume still comparatively, right? And so there's a lot of weird shit happening. And listen, we say 50 grand like it's nothing because everybody on this panel is super wealthy, but I gotta imagine that you get 50 grand less than you're thinking. This causes a ripple effect because now you can't buy the thing you wanted. You can't maybe pay off everybody that you were planning. Like, I don't know, but I think 50 grand on one of these condos is a nice hit to the.
Well, yeah. And both of these, the initial price started right around 500,000. These weren't $1 million condos. So 50 grand on 500,000 is
Mm.
that's That's a lot.
Different
That's a
story than, yeah, 50
totally
on
different.
1.1. Yeah. And so the house that they bought, do you feel they saved that 50 compared to where they would have been 5 months ago when they first listed?
That's a good question. No, because the house didn't go down as much as the condo went down
Okay.
from when they first listed.
But I've done this now twice in the last month. I've had peak buyers. So March 2022 buyers sell.
At a
Now
loss?
yes, for
How
sure.
big? How
One
big?
was 18.5%. The other one was 20.5%.
But give us the
Nominal,
dollar.
nominal.
Give us the numbers, Steve. Come on.
I don't know.
6 figures?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
7
both are
figures?
down. Both down. I'm gonna say one was $150,000. Then they had to pay the realtors.
Right.
The other one was $180,000. Then they had to pay the realtors.
Then transfer tax, closing costs,
Legal
Yeah,
fees.
I think
yeah,
it's
everything
silly
like
though
that.
that people want to recover their land transfer tax. Like, that's the cost of
Well,
doing
not that they
business.
want to, but just like that's just part of the equation. At the end of the day, you're losing money. Yeah. We got lots of people losing money. That's it.
They
You know,
were
people
one of
are-
them was what I would refer to as a speculator that bought with the intention of flipping it, which was crazy. And the other one was just, you know what? We ended up buying in a neighborhood we didn't really like anymore. So now we're going to move to somewhere else. Those people were fine because they were in the market for a long time. It was their principal residence. The guy that put down the 20% on speculation, thinking he was going to make more, and then walked away and brought realtor fees to the closing table. That one was a
But
little tougher to
imagine
swallow.
those were first-time home buyers that didn't own previously to move up to that place. Like first-time home buyers can't afford
Yeah, but they're still there.
to lose 180 grand.
Yeah, but they're still there.
Yeah, they're still living there because they can't afford to sell it.
Yeah. So whatever. So it closed and they live there now. Like that's what a first time home buyer would be, right? I mean, these were all livable units that if they wanted to live in them for long term, they could. This was a choice to move on. Well, one was a speculation, the other one was a choice to move on, right? That it just didn't make sense in the first place. I think if it was a first time buyer, what was the big deal?
Is
So
there
they live in the unit?
Is there first time buyers still, or do they
Yes,
like? But
more
are they?
than ever?
But is it the first thing that they do? Or are they coming from rentals, or like has the age changed for first time buyers? Like something
Yes.
has to change. Like something must be different.
It's
now.
definitely gone up. We helped a
The
few people
age?
this year. Yeah, the age for sure. Most of them come from rentals. It's rare like living at home to just buying a place.
Isn't that how it used to be
Yeah.
though? Didn't it used
Yeah,
to
because they were
be?
21 years old.
Right.
No,
Now
but
they're
didn't it
40.
used to be that you could buy a condo right away and move out, buy a condo?
When
do
you're
that
21,
It
at one
probably
point,
used to be easier
Yeah.
to
yeah.
to
Very few people
financially
are
make
doing
it
that
happen.
today. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like now, first time buyer isn't really a buyer. The first time person is like a renter, probably more often than not now, right?
They're
'Cause-
renting,
Sure.
but so this year we've had a lot of most of our first time buyers are in their 20s. Most of them are single people. So they're not going
Single.
to yeah, they're single people. They got good jobs, or okay jobs,
But they're
and they're able to
30
buy
or
it
something. They're still like at home. It's time to move
between
out or what?
25 and 30 years old.
Yeah, they're old. They got to get out.
Is that old?
25 and you're still at home? You're a fucking loser, no?
Hey man, that's where people are now.
This
I
is
don't
the
know why.
problem,
This is the
yeah.
problem.
Hey, but
This
is
is the
being a
problem.
Let's get our
loser
Too
old
soon.
man glasses
Everybody's
on
a
here and
loser.
the
Don't speak
problem
too
with
soon,
kids
okay? We
these
all have
days-
kids, you know, that you never want
Is-
to, you know,
Listen,
is being a loser and living at home worse than buying something you can't afford
Yes.
to try to show people you own a property?
no, you got to rent. You got to get out. You got to go
Just
make
get
your
out
way
is the
in the
thing.
world today.
Yeah.
some people, you know, listen, sometimes
it
you got
everything
cool
you got.
parents.
Give
You're in the
everything you got.
basement, girls can come in and out of the separate entrance and stuff like that, and you're having a good life. What's wrong with that?
You know what the biggest financial hack is for people trying to enter the market?
Right, buy an apartment building.
Sure.
Yeah, and live in one of the units. Go buy a
Sure.
sixplex.
If you can afford to do it.
No, just
Um,
put $2 million
The deal has to be able to afford
in-
to do it.
into some ETFs and then just live off the interest.
Yeah.
Simple. Why
No,
doesn't
it was-
everyone just do that?
Buy 8 million properties. It's
I
easy.
was yeah.
You
Well,
know, it's
thanks
better than, yeah.
Thanks for clearing it
Well,
up.
it's better than buying your first property, buying your first 10 properties.
That's right.
Well, look, I'm just looking at the stats. Just came out here, hot off the presses. Our downtown area of Surrey, if you want to call it that, Wally, is flooded now with inventory like crazy. Average price is down 16% year over year. benchmark price is down 7%. So you're talking about going
Painful.
from like 550 down to 460. It's doable now. Like 4 to 4.25 gets you a 500 square foot apartment that's 3 or 4 years old.
I think those price points, like market wise, are less affected than the big cities. Like Vancouver has got to have the same type of market that we've got right now.
I think
Has to.
it's
Oh,
actually
no,
it's
ours
worse.
is- ours
It's
is
worse
way
with
worse.
inventory.
Ours
But
is way
Steve,
worse.
yours is still relatively cheaper to enter. Maybe
Way cheaper.
inventory's higher, but it's a lot cheaper to get in. Like
Yeah.
I remember having a conversation with a friend of a friend, and we were kind of joking, but he was making like 90 grand a year and he was renting, and he was like, should I enter the market? I feel like I can't even get what I want and I make 90 grand. And what I had said earlier, I was trying to get to before Steve just started yelling,
Interrupting
like
over top of you. It happens.
the actual answer is dual income. Like if I look at my clients that entered the market when they're in their 20s, they bought their first place. This was 5, 6, 7 years ago with one income. They got into a relationship. Now they had dual income. Some of them could afford to keep the condo, jump to the house, or sell the condo and then get to the house. Like every one of these condos we're selling right now, it's a couple that could only afford the house because there's two of them.
Are they married?
Married or long-term relationship. Yep.
So, Tom, what you're saying
Common
is
law.
women choosing to work is the real problem.
Oh my God.
Oh
Just
boy.
kidding.
No, but
I'm
listen.
joking. No, but like honestly, in a way, think about it this way.
Yeah.
You go from a time when you were a single income household, and then you want to expand that so you can get ahead. So now there's two incomes coming in your household. The bank's going to get that money, or you're going to spend to that potential.
It's extra
And that's gonna
tax
continue to
revenue.
happen.
That's where
And
it came from. Extra tax revenue. You just opened up a whole new tax
Mm-hmm.
revenue source, right? By adding women to the working
Every
pool.
revenue source, everything.
Let's be honest, guys. I mean, women working is good on one hand, but I mean, you end up having to pay people to pick up the slack, right? So you end up having two incomes, and now you're just paying other people to do what that other person was going to do, right? Like you got daycare or nannies or all kinds of programs. And
Yeah.
I mean, you got to feed the kids. I guess that happens one way or another. But the point is that like if people would stay home and not do so much shit and not need so much, the second person could actually raise the kids to not be morons. That would be kind of cool.
Darryl,
Yeah.
I think you're right in most of what you're saying, but as someone that has a wife home right now, maternity leave, like not having social interaction with adults
for
terrible.
most of the day is
It's terrible.
mentally so difficult.
What about the mailman?
Yeah.
No,
No.
The mailman.
You better hope
That's where the
not.
third kid comes from.
You know,
Yeah.
better
wait
hope
at the
not.
door.
They stopped door-to-door mail. Now you got those community mailboxes that created a whole
We
nother
got door to
problem.
door still here.
I still have a mailbox. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But I think stay-at-home dads would be a good option too.
I have a friend who's a
What about that?
stay-at-home dad.
Well,
Yeah.
we're talking about women, but like it could just be one income versus two incomes is really the
Okay.
Well, that's
conversation.
Well, we
we're having.
probably
more
should have
politically
been.
correct.
Tom, I
yeah.
don't know if you noticed, but that's what we're joking about. We're not actually trying to be as sexist as possible on the show.
Oh, hold on
Oh,
a second.
yeah,
What?
if you didn't tell
Speak for
Darryl.
yourself, Steve.
Jesus. I didn't get that memo.
So what other crazy stories you got right now? I mean, like Darryl and I
I got
Daryl
a
just did a closing. I
crazy
just did a
story.
closing that was just like a nightmare.
Should I
The
talk
guy's in,
about this?
The guy's
Did you
in
already talk
Korea, so it's a private lender. They're going power sale. They've got the writ of possession. They're ready to just take the property, but like we lend them some money. We get the property sold to a developer for way more money than it was worth. Appraisal comes in short. They can't get their financing. Months of extensions, and then we're all about to get it set and closed. And the lender, he's in Korea, and he can't sign off on the discharge.
Is it
Why?
the lender is in
The
Korea?
lender, yeah, it's a private lender.
DocuSign doesn't work
then-
in Korea?
He didn't answer anybody's calls. It's the long weekend, all that kind of stuff. We didn't close on Friday. The buyers could have backed out.
Which Korea? Is he alive?
The South Korean. And so, anyways, my client on Wednesday just sends him a screenshot of his lawyer saying, "Hey, if this doesn't close, you're going to have to sue so and so because of the fact that these buyers don't close." And next thing you know, he's calling his own lawyer and signing the documents, and we got the deal closed yesterday. It's a good feeling. But these are the things that are out there.
Well, what
right?
did we learn this week? I mean, we had a crazy situation over here, right? We closed the property. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever closed the deal and not got paid your commission?
No.
Have you ever had it like
Yes.
held back and threatened to not be paid? You have? What happened?
Oh, this was a long time ago. I
What
think
did you do?
it wasn't actually, it was on the team. I wasn't super involved, but it was some weird thing with a co-op and the money coming a certain way because the co-ops, they don't really go through land title in the same way, right? They go directly to the co-op. I don't exactly recall, but basically the seller ended up claiming the fee back because they were or weren't told something, and it ended up going through. It had to go to court, I think. Actually, it wasn't even our fee; it was the listing agent's fee because we had the buyer on it.
Yeah,
But
which
I
means
have
you
seen
didn't
such a
get
thing.
So
yours,
we
right?
have a system in place that's pretty foolproof in real estate as far as irrevocable directions go and trust accounts. And in order for us to get paid, there used to be a long time ago when brokerages would go bankrupt and then the money would be gone and they'd use the trust money. So then you wouldn't get your deposit. So you'd say, instead of bringing the deposit to the listing brokerage, you say, we're putting the deposit in our brokerage trust account and then
Yeah.
we'll disperse funds from there as the buyer agent.
Or at the
But that's
lawyers, right?
with the lawyers. And that's been taken care of. But Daryl's got a, like in every other
Are they not paying you, TK? Is that
scenario in the
who's not
world.
getting paid?
No, it's Daryl's deal, and it was in the lawyer's trust account,
Yeah.
and they're refusing to pay commissions, which we don't really know the whole story. Maybe they're refusing, but usually lawyers have pretty clear instructions on how they have to disperse funds. They don't really have the authority to just like say, "Well, my client told me not to,"
We're just not
right?
paying this.
It's
Well,
irrevocable
basically,
direction. That's what it means.
well, so as we get deeper into it, so we closed, and the agents are waiting for their commission, and all of a sudden, it's like the seller decided that they're not going to pay the commission, right? And
Did
it's
you
like,
use a
why?
residential like APS when you bought it? Was there a confirmation of
There's an
co-op? Was it
exclusive listing. There's a confirmation cooperation representation.
Everything.
okay? So you
The
had all the
deposit,
paper.
the
Okay.
deposit. Well, that's what we don't know. Was there a listing agreement or not?
We have
Uh,
confirmation that
He's on
there
the buyer side.
is. No, we have
You had
confirmation
confirmation.
that there is. Yeah.
Yeah.
does it
We
say what the commission is on the listing agreement?
I believe so. I had
Okay.
my lawyer send an email to the other lawyer to say, like, just so the buyer's kind of involved in this whole thing and would like you to, release their money to the appropriate
The
people,
listing
right?
brokerage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the way it's supposed to be. And the lawyer actually said, like, I don't want to be dealing with this, but hopefully there's a resolution by the end of today. But it's like, have you ever? I've never
What's
heard
the
of
claim
this.
against the commission though?
I don't know, but I got a feeling. Listen, I mean, you must be upset with your agent if you're
Yeah.
going to do something like this, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I could see based on what transpired over the life of the deal how maybe they could be upset. But I mean, this is not a move that you're really supposed to make, right? I don't think it's fully kosher.
I had a bank try that on me on a short sale.
Yeah.
Because I've done a number of short sales now. They're actually quite fun.
The bank tried to not pay you a commission
Yeah, the bank at the last. So
on a listing.
the way, yeah, our listing. So the way a short sale works is there's not enough to clear title. Well, my client at the time was also going bankrupt.
Oh shit.
So, I mean, there's no blood from a stone, right? So we negotiate this deal. We make it subject to bank approval. The bank, however, will not give a full approval. So on the condition removal date for the seller, I have an email that basically says, as presented, the bank will support the sale. And that's it. So they won't give anything really in writing rather than this generic email. So it comes to a week from closing, and I'm, again, talking to the bank, making sure everything's going. And the guy just basically says, okay, well, how much are you kicking in?
Right.
I was like, how much am I kicking in? Like, is it, sorry? Did I not hear this right? Did you cut out?
No.
And he's like, yeah. So like, I know you'll reduce your commission, that you need this sale to close. You don't get paid if it doesn't close. So how much are you kicking in? And I was just like, well, okay. So let me just
The
do
right
the
move.
math here. Let me do, yeah. For hit, I don't blame him for doing it at all.
No.
But for this fella at the bank, I was like, okay, so we have a deal on this place for $650. They owe, I don't know what it was. Let's call it like the break even after paying me. The bank was losing like $5,400 or something. So I definitely could have kicked in the difference and made it go smooth. But this bank,
that doesn't sound like you.
But this bank, when you do the deal, when they signed the mortgage, the reason my guys were coming out with no money is because they signed a total indebtedness clause. And the bank then tied an unsecured line of credit to a secured property. So that's why my guys are walking away with no money. Normally in the bankruptcy, that would have been gone because the unsecured line should go. So basically, the fine print absolutely screws my clients in the middle of their bankruptcy. They're literally going homeless, like this whole thing. So I think it might have been between $5,000 and $15,000, somewhere in there. And I just said to the guy, okay, well, so here's your option. Well, I mean, my option is I can toss it in or not toss it in. Your option is you decide not to support the sale. Then my client will continue to live in the property for another 6 to 9 months to a year. You can apply to court in a downward trending market. Go hire your own lawyers and your own realtors, of which you're going to have to pay the same amount of which I want right now. And you're probably going to sell the property for, let's call it, well, according to these numbers, 16% less a year later, because it was about a year ago. So I was like, I actually think you should be paying me more right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm saving you probably $75,000.
Yeah.
So sign the paperwork.
How much do you want to chip in?
And so
bro?
he
Right?
goes, I'll get back to you. And I didn't hear nothing. It closed absolutely fine with the bank taking the shortfall.
Yeah. Nice. That's what we're dealing with on the second mortgages right now. So because the second mortgagees, they're getting burned. And so they're coming to us. So we've got an approval from the seller condition in order for us to be able to go back to them and say, hey, can we get approval from the second mortgagee that they're going to be basically take a loss. And that's the only path right now to close some of these deals. And we haven't seen any that they didn't approve. Some have fallen apart otherwise for other reasons. But yeah,
There's
they
not
try to
enough
screw you in
equity
commission.
to cover
You-
the second. There's not
No,
enough
so-
equity.
Never.
No. So you did the right move by having that condition, because the last thing you want to do is assume that they're going to make that adjustment later on. So at least you come back to them and say, hey, here's your options. This is what we've done. We've tried to get this price. We can't. Here's the situation. You're already making payments to the first mortgagee because they're behind there as well. So what do you want to do? Like, do you want to take a power sale? Do you want to take this over? Do you want to have all those extra costs? And with the direction the market's going, you could end up with nothing, or you got yourself a little rental
But
property.
the seconds are stupid right now. So we're seeing more foreclosures. We're back up to about our regular 3 or 4 a year, which is what we did before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so when that foreclosure comes through, though, it's always funny business. It's never just a nice person that lost their home or got in too far. What we're noticing is it's like you say, there's a second, but the first was already 80% or whatever, right? So the person putting on the second, there was never much equity, or if any equity there in the first place.
That's what the appraiser said, yeah.
And then the ones that are going to foreclosure are the ones with the seconds. Otherwise, we don't see seconds. So there's funny business going on those ones. And it's just the market not going up is what's screwing them. Or maybe they can't pay their bills or whatever it is. But like these are weird things where they moved in within the last 2 or 3 years. They were never paying their bills because we're getting the foreclosure now.
PK, at least for realtors that have an online platform, I've never heard someone deal with so many second mortgages than you.
That's true.
Is
So
that like
this
your
one-
business model? Are you
So
advertising?
the one I just closed the other day, yesterday, that just finally closed. I swear to God, the lawyer said he's never seen a 2-page discharge payout statement. He says ever. So first mortgage, second mortgage, third mortgage, property tax, CRA, unsecured loan, real estate commissions. It was a 2-page report. Right? That's how many different
commissions are always at the very bottom, by the way.
Yeah, right. Those were all the payouts that they had to do. And he was just like, there was just so many people. These were sending wires, this guy, that guy. There was just so much money owed. Right? That's what it is. I think on the team, I'm the one who's the most experienced with it. So I think I get all those ones. That's probably
Because like
No,
in
and
my
they market
12-year
like
career,
a-
I've maybe dealt with 2 or 3
yeah.
listings that had seconds.
Because they market so much and they have so many leads, a lot of people come to them as like
last
another
resort.
another option after somebody else in their eyes fucked it up, right? It's like they don't know who to go to. Frank's everywhere. He must be able to deal with anything, and it turns out that they can, right? So but you guys have so much volume of leads, it's insane. And right now, like, who's selling? People in trouble. So what are the odds that you guys get that, right?
Those are the only people who will. Like, you have to really want to sell right now.
Gotta be
Like, if you're like,
fucked.
I don't know, Tom, are you saying no to listings? Like, what's that look like if someone comes to you and you're just like, I really can't guarantee that you're going to be selling. Like, I don't feel comfortable taking it. I can't hear you though. Where'd you go?
Frozen.
Nope.
Oh man, he's so terrible. Can I answer?
That
it
was
for
good
him?
because what he was about to say
I'm Tom Story. I
would have
never
gotten him
take
in
an overpriced
trouble.
listing
So
ever. I never.
I
take
pretended I was
overpriced
Tom. Someone
listing.
called me from the show, and
Look
then
at the
when they
young
called,
guy.
I said,
He's
"Hey, it's
having
Tom Story."
tech problems.
Just so
No,
because I figured that's who they were
Oh.
looking for. I figured they were calling me for Tom
He's
Story.
right out of this thing.
You know?
Totally
That is
professional.
so
Like-
funny.
He did not. He did not want to have to answer that question.
Can you
No.
hear me now?
We
Yeah,
can.
you're back.
Unfortunately.
You're back.
can.
All right.
Can't
I
wait
forgot
to
the
cut-
question though.
Can't wait.
Do you
to
remember?
It's
cut you
not
off
so
next.
much that I've turned down stuff. I've been very
Oh, right. Oh, perfect.
Oh, that's happening again, Tom.
How do you
Sorry, I'm gonna
deal
cut
with
that
this,
again.
Steve?
I
How
don't
do you
know.
deal with
I
this
don't
shit
know.
every
You
fucking
know,
week?
I don't know.
What
It's
is
Guys,
like
why don't
a
we try this again next
Bill
Thursday? All right.
Ferguson on as a guest.
Let's
or something.
let's book we'll book you guys back in. We'll talk to her. You know what? I think we got time in September. Let me just check the schedule
Let's
here.
give
Hold
him
on.
one more chance, and then I'll answer the question.
We
Feel
got a
like-
good. Oh,
It's okay. You got all
I
the
think you
time
guys
in the
might
world.
actually
Was
have
that
to
it?
edit something.
you guys can probably hear me now, but it won't sound as good. So I'm gonna let Steve answer, and I'll get this figured out.
you sound okay. Tell
Okay,
us the
so-
answer, Tom.
Keep
Now
going,
the
keep
suspense
going.
is there.
The answer is that I'm being so upfront with people, and I've been talking with Steve a lot about this, where I'm disqualifying myself from a lot of business these days because they don't like my number. So, and actually kind of got to me recently because I was like, I've lost in quotations more listings than I'm used to. Normally I go in and then we're 90% of the time we get it. Because other people are giving them really good prices that don't exist.
Yeah.
And so they're coming back around 3 months later or selling for the price I told them, but the other person got it signed. And that's something I've been kind of internally struggling with. Like, do I give
What's
people
the-
hope just
Yeah,
to get
what's
it
the right
signed?
way to do about it? What's
I don't
good
know.
business? What's bad business? That's impossible to tell, right?
Well, do you just pump
Someone
the
might come to the
number,
light after a week
right?
or two, but
do you just
others may
pump
not.
the number, or do you have to walk in there with some BS? What is Tom sent me 75-point marketing plan, right? Of which is probably not a 75-point market.
The MLS.
Yeah, right. I put it on the MLS and I'm done, right?
And they
Now,
will
there's
reach
definitely
thousands of
differences.
websites.
There's differences on the level of marketing that you're going to put into a property,
Mhm.
definitely. But people, like, I lost a listing this year because the lady says to me after the fact, I phone her up and I just want to ask, like, why did you pick the other guy? And her answer was, well, he said he's going to get us 20,000 views on Facebook. And I was like, the non-real estate website like Facebook, a $5 ad will get you probably 20,000 views. And that's the difference of an ad that's
get you
not going to get your
30,000.
property. So yeah, I'll get you. Okay. Like, have you signed yet? Can I spend the
Yeah.
$10 and get you 40,000?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100,000.
But that was the difference for her.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, that's what mattered. And I'm just like, that is so crazy to me. By the way, that property ended up taking 3 months to sell and sold for $50,000 less than I told her to market it for.
But it doesn't matter if you're right.
That's
true.
the key.
I don't
That's
have the
key.
paycheck. That's
Yeah.
true.
Well, but that's where you guys have to figure out, I guess, based on how busy you are with other stuff, is like, where do I want to tell them the prices? Do I really want this listing? And can I ride it out until they come to grips with reality? Can I live with that approach?
No, but if Darryl, if that's your approach as a real estate agent, you're not going to make it very far.
yeah,
the
but there's
approach
70,000
is-
here. Some of them have that approach.
The approach is
Yes.
this. Look, the numbers, yeah, they do. And
They
that's why they're
do.
not going to make it very far. But the numbers say that you're probably about here. This is where value is showing us, right? But the reality is, I am not the one that picks the price. You are the one that picks the price. It's your property. It's my job to advise you. Now, if you're going to hire me and not take my advice, it's probably another conversation. Like, you should probably take the advice of the person you're hiring if you trust them. But in reality, if you're not sold in this much time, you need to adjust. You can't blame people for trying harder. Everybody wants to try a little higher price. But if you hold on to that price for 6 months, it's obviously not there. So then when they do go on the market 6 months ago and you don't see that price change, is it a stubborn seller, which it very well might be, or is it an incapable agent not being able to show them and tell them what they need to do? Because most agents, after 3 weeks on the market, just stop phoning their clients.
So, but we, like, TK 1 week is saying, I got multiple offers and it's working. And then a couple weeks later, he's like, I got multiple offers and
An
nobody's
offer
making
dates. That's the
offer
newest type
dates,
of offer dates
right?
that I do. Yeah.
But like,
the
No,
offer
no
date
offers
that
on
just
offer
goes,
date.
comes and
Yeah.
goes, and
It
nothing
just, it
happens.
just comes and goes, and the price stays the same. There you
but
go.
hold on a sec. Is the market changing like almost every other week with the
Mhm.
patterns of buying
Yes.
right now? Is it
Yeah.
that crazy?
I think
2
so.
weeks ago, we were getting all of our listings, offers on everything. The last 2 weeks, for whatever reason, quiet.
So crazy. So what is the difference? What happened?
I mean, it's nice outside. It's summer. We only get so much time,
Such
maybe.
a realtor answer.
But what else happened? Nothing else has
Buyers are
happened.
losing confidence. There's
World
more
War
listings.
III, maybe World War III.
Buyers,
No.
see, you know what's interesting, Tika, because you say buyers are losing confidence, and even though our sales numbers are bad, if you actually look at City of Toronto, every month this year, transactions have gone up every single month. They're not good, but they've gone up every month. Like we've been
But what-
trending.
But like what year, other than the few anomalies, like maybe like 2017 or 2020 or 2022 or maybe 2008 or 9, what years does that not happen as the weather
That's-
gets warmer,
It's a good point. It's a
right?
good
And so
point.
it's kind of
Yep.
like, yeah, that's what I expect. But I mean, we know what's going on there. You hear what buyers are saying, and when you get an offer, it's just like it feels like surreal.
There's
I
just
can-
way
Like,
less
you sure you're gonna
interest.
send me an offer? Like you're gonna email me it? Like your
The
client
interest
signed it
is
already?
way less though,
Oh,
right? Like I even noticed
pick
that
it up
just
if you need me to.
on our YouTube channels and stuff, you'll see the trends when the market picks up.
Oh,
The
yeah.
views of real
Oh,
estate
yeah.
will pick up, and when the market
Yeah.
stinks,
Yeah.
the same thing happens. It trends downwards, right? Like
That's
right-
why they're
I
getting
would
more
say
views than us, Darryl, is because Surrey, BC has more buyers right now looking, and they're trying
it
to
definitely does
find out
not.
what's going on in Surrey. It has nothing to do with the podcast,
It
Darryl.
has
That's
to
why they
be.
get more views.
It has
Months
to
of
be, yeah.
Now we know.
inventory. Tom and I were just talking about this. Months of inventory across a lot of areas, particularly in detached and lower mainland, is between 12 and 15 months.
Ouch.
Like that is a
That's
lot.
crazy.
Yeah, but it's so meaningless because that can swing so drastically. so
No, it
quickly,
won't swing
right?
drastically. But what I'm noticing is when I'm
Didn't
talking to
it
my
just?
agents, my agents are coming in and showing properties to our buyers, and they're like, I understand there's 500 active listings on the market right now. It's all crap. It's all asking too much. The sellers haven't cleaned up or wiped the toilet seat or put out the cat litter or anything. It's all crap.
Yeah.
Nobody's willing to get their stuff ready for sale right now. It's weird that people are so ready to get their stuff for sale. In a hot market, they're like, what can I do? Can I clean up? Can I paint this wall?
So I got one of those listings right now, and it's because they're at the end of the rope. They don't want to sell. They don't have the energy. They don't have the time. They don't have the money. They are just like, get rid of this property now. I have no choice. And when you walk in there and you see a person that's owner occupied and it looks like that, lowball.
Lowball the shit out of them from
Unless it's
four
my
different-
listing.
Four
All right?
different
Then
places.
give me my asking price. I know what I'm doing.
I
But,
guarantee if you used AI to go through every sale on MLS and found all the properties that took pictures of the bathroom with the toilet seat up,
Yeah,
there's definitely a 5% discount on those properties.
for sure. Or just no interior photos.
Yeah. By the way, my mic is just gone, so hopefully this sounds okay.
I'm glad you have the more expensive
It's
mic than any of us.
horrendous. Yeah. Thank you for ruining the show. I mean, it's
You know
not
what I've-
bad enough that you're on the show. Now you got to
Speaking
ruin the
of-
audio.
Toilet seat up. I've noticed. I was just looking at properties the other day, and it was in this kind of pocket of area, and the amount of pool tables in the living room in these detached houses was, I couldn't believe there. It was like 6 listings in a row where there's a pool table in the living room.
What does
and
that mean?
Yeah.
That means single 45 to 60-year-old man.
Oh.
I don't know about that. They could be.
That's
just
definitely
old. They've
what
been there
that
for a long
means.
time.
What
Okay,
the
Steve,
hell else
legal-
could that
le-
mean?
Nobody
legal
with a
question.
wife is allowed to have a pool table in the living room.
Steve, legal question. All right. I
That's
got a
true.
client who's got a house to sell. The house was built like late 19th century. They've been there for 50 years. And they said that they had people coming to their house from the family who owned the home before, constantly every 5 years or so, and saying, can I like come inside and see the house? It was my family's house. And they all go to the same spot in the house and they start knocking on the wall and trying to see if they can like look inside it. And they've been doing that for like decades. No one's come around for a little while. All right. You as a seller, what do? Opening up the wall, you might find something there that you don't want to know about,
Or you might find something you do.
Might be something good.
right? It might be something good.
Are these like like real people? Is this
What's
like
do you
spirits?
disclose it? Do you not disclose it? How do you
Do you know that's the
address that
easiest
situation?
way for a thief to get inside your house? Walk up and say, "Oh, I grew up in this house.
Right.
Yeah,
So awesome. Can I go check out my whole bedroom?"
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you bet. Come on in.
Where's
Come
the
on in.
safe,
What do you
by the
do?
way?
That's a weird one. That's
Yeah.
I've never heard of such a crazy thing. I would never let them in again and live my life. And when it was time to sell the
Well, you're
house,
the
I
agent
would,
now. Now you're selling the house. What do you tell your clients?
no, I don't. What do you
What do you
tell
mean?
them?
Like there might be something behind this wall?
Well, you're assuming you don't
Do you
know
want to
there's
You
any
don't
discover
know
if there's
anything at this
something
point in
behind this
time.
wall?
So you
Yeah,
got nothing to disclose at this point.
Disclose the last neighbor was mental.
So are you worried it's something in the wall? Or are you worried it's a stigmatized property like
I don't think there's anything
a
there at all. I think
ghost?
people are nuts that they all, think
Yeah.
about stupid things, that their uncle told them a story about how their
Uh,
grandfather had buried all their wealth in the wall.
no, they're
Really,
checking
he
to
spent
see
it on hookers down at the brothel and didn't want to tell his wife about it. You know what I mean? Like,
there's
come on.
gold. There's gold in that
Right? I
wall.
swear I put it all in the wall there for you guys. I saved every dollar of
If
it.
it's
Like,
hollow, they your inheritance is gone.
yeah, it
Right?
was an
Which
alcoholic.
wall and what's the address?
How are we going to get this out of here? That's a weird one.
That is a weird one. I don't think
Yeah.
you have any obligation to let anybody know that that's
Nothing to disclose. What do you
happening.
know?
There's
Yeah.
nothing to disclose there.
But what, like Tom said, what if something's good in there?
I think if they're coming, it's because there is something good in there.
Gotta
Why
be.
would
What
they
the
go
hell?
back to knock
To-
on something they don't want to
to
find?
visit the
I would
passed
tell
away
my seller to
relative that
knock open the
somebody's-
wall.
What if
Maybe
they
it's
stuck
like,
a body in
See-
the wall.
yeah,
and
what
they're
if
just
it's
coming back to
grandma?
visit?
Yeah, it's
Grandma.
grandma.
Grandma's in the wall and she
Right?
was wearing a wedding ring or something.
Maybe
like that.
somebody by accident like dumped the ashes down the vent and grandma kind of trickled into the wall. And now they're going back to pay their respects. What do you do then?
I think you open.
You guys
up
are
the
so
wall.
Dead
insensitive.
body.
How do you not even think about this, guys? Like you're so insensitive. It's
Can you
ridiculous.
imagine what would happen?
Oh.
You open up the wall and there's just a mummy sitting in there.
Yeah. Oh
Probably
my
nothing.
God.
Probably
But gold
nothing. Most
bricks
likely
would be
nothing.
worth opening up the wall.
Gold
Right?
brick, yeah.
Couple silver bars, couple.
I found
whatever,
some crazy shit inside some of the renovations that I did in the past. Like I opened up some pretty old houses with some like I found inside of a wall, this guy had hidden there was some magazines and some Vaseline and some whiskey buried in the wall. And I don't know what was going on with that, but I imagine,
I do.
Those are
Well,
three things he didn't want his wife to find.
That's right.
Steve calls that a Sunday afternoon.
Can you imagine? Sunday afternoon for Steve. It's a Sunday afternoon special. Just get the whiskey and the
Like keep in the trunk of my car.
out of the wall. It's
Yeah.
a travel pack for TK. This,
Yeah.
Well, if we didn't go off the rails yet, well done, everybody. I think I took us there. So
We're under the
sorry
table.
about that.
We're under the table.
We are somewhere off the side.
So do we have an end to this? Like we had Ben Rabideau on last week. He was
super bullish until we
bullish.
killed him.
And then we're like, wait a second, Ben, I don't think you got the whole picture here.
Until you
Yeah,
told him the one
but, like-
story about the one client you have, and he's like, "Okay, I changed my mind."
I don't
see
know.
how
Yeah,
much
everything's
power.
just-
Stories are very powerful.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? Like what's gonna change? When is it gonna be fun again?
Have,
It's-
What
Have we
does
hit a
fun
bottom?
again mean?
is there
It's
a
not-
bottom?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No
Maybe
bottom.
for freehold properties in Toronto, I don't see them dipping a ton from here. Condos have not hit the bottom for smaller units. I really think like until we get a trade deal, nothing changes for sales volume.
We're still in a trade war. Is that still going on?
Well, we don't have a deal.
We don't have a deal. This thing just, when was this supposed to be
Is
done?
that the hesitancy that buyers have? Is that what it
care
is?
No, I'm
anymore?
not even saying that's why they're not doing it. It's just
No.
like this thing that's looming
No.
that's reported on every day, and maybe you watch the news, maybe you don't, but that needs to be sorted for
Yeah.
Canadians to feel okay to make large financial decisions. Like I really believe it.
Yeah.
What
I
about
don't
rates?
know.
Are rates okay?
I'm
Or-
more tossed up with just when I look at the scale, and actually on a video the other day, I had to go back and find, because the scale has shrunk so much that those little blips from before are actually massive. They were increases or decreases. So I had to go back and find some historical data and look at it that way. But I find like you had this, in my market anyway, you had this 1981 run up, and then it came back, and then it went sideways. And then you had 89-90 run up, and then the 91 crash, and then 92-93 run up, and then sideways for 10 years. And then early 2000s, run up and then down and then sideways for 10 years. I think it's just an exacerbated, is that a word? Version of the same thing. Like, I think there's a slow, steady grind sideways to down for well, we're probably already 3 years into it. Until the question is, when does that stop? When does the next thing come around? When does the economy get better? And it's probably another 2 to 6 years away, somewhere in there. And then we're going to go back into a good time again, because the economy is cyclical, as is everything else. So you're going to go through goods and bads. And right now it's not nearly as bad as people think, unless you bought in March or February of 2022. It's not that bad.
Are you a real estate agent and you're looking to make a change? Anywhere in Ontario, guess what? We're hiring. Frankly and Associates, #1 team in the GTA for all RE/MAX teams, #1 team for all teams from all companies for number of units sold throughout Toronto. So if you're looking to make a change, best decision I ever made was to join Frankly and Associates. Go to jointeamleo.com and we can set up a call.
Well, in the heart of the country, where there's so many tiny condos piling up, it's insane.
Is the heart of the country
in Toronto?
In Toronto,
Or as Tom's
it's the
story
center of
calls
the
it,
universe. Actually, sorry.
in Toronto, where Tom's story lives. Tom, what has to happen in Toronto for condos to actually start moving again?
Either the prices decrease significantly.
What's significantly?
From where we are right now, I actually think the real number is if condo prices went down another 10%, I think they'd start moving again, because they're already down 15 to 18% from February 2022. There's just too many listings. So, and I don't think going down 10% means they all sell. I think a lot of sellers have to realize pretty soon you're not getting your price. Get off the market. That could actually speed things up. There's too many listings.
Yeah, but how do you take it off the market when you got to sell?
Well, not all of them have to sell.
How
That's
many
the problem.
don't?
Like, even in a really crappy market that's favoring the buyers, not every seller is as motivated as they should be.
No, but the guys that own those little condos, 98% of them never intended on closing. So those are all people that have to sell.
It depends when they bought those. If they bought those pre-con 3 years ago, like, you're taking a massive loss and move on with your life. But if you bought it in 2018 resale, you're probably okay.
Probably okay.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not great.
You're coming out with equity to go to your next place.
Do we have any loss from here, though? I'm not sure that we do have any loss from here. And the reason I say that is I think the loss or the price is already there. It's just sellers haven't accepted where that is. So
there's too many of them. There's way too many.
You mean the prices don't go down further?
Let's say you were
bought today, you don't think it'll be.
Hang on. Let's say in your mind, you have a listing. Let's say it's 719.
Okay.
And the last sale, or sorry, not even the last sale. You know, as the agent,
I don't price like 19. Like I want
to get thing this
725.
Whatever it is. Okay, the exact number. I'm not Darryl. Don't cut me off.
Okay.
This is not your show, is it? Oh no,
okay.
This is your show. So let's say you're at 725.
Okay.
That's your list price, but your agent, Tom Story, says, like, listen, we need to be at 650, 659 to get this thing sold.
Okay.
And you're like, oh, I'm not going to go there. But if you were there, you would sell today. So the price is actually 650. You're going to think that you're going to slowly lose money over the next 6 months until you get to 650. But I'm not sure that in 3 months from now or 4 months from now or 5 months from now, the price is less than 650. It's how long does it take the seller to get to where the market value is?
I disagree.
I disagree too.
That's what
here,
the example that you would even give it, or one of you just gave here about the sellers sold for 50 grand. I think that was you, Steve. He took 50 grand less than what you had initially suggested.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that example is the same example that I think is going to continue to happen today. As long as inventory remains high, whatever you're worth today, you're worth less than 3 months. And if you don't take our advice and you go on too high,
6 months ago,
there's going to be more inventory, though.
I do think the majority of the price lost was March and April this year.
Okay.
I don't think
I still think
such a big sink
I think
right
this
there,
summer is going to be another bloodbath.
Yeah. in the
Honestly,
Toronto
like,
condos. Has to be.
For small condos, I agree.
Has to be. There's more coming
even
on.
even houses, I'm telling you guys, I got houses that are great
Houses?
prices on the market right now. That's the cheapest price. And the buyers are still coming in. They're like, you think they'll take 150K
Oh
under
yeah,
asking?
they're going to take
Like,
advantage of it. You can't blame them for trying to take
people,
advantage.
but,
of it.
Have
but
to.
one person will eventually take that offer because they have to sell, and now that's the new benchmark.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the problem is there's so much downward pressure from every area, economy, lack of buyers, too many sellers, sellers who have to sell. That would be the new benchmark. That'll be the new sale. So, yeah,
Okay,
I
so let me
really
give you
don't
this
have a lot
one.
of
So
confidence.
here's why I
10%.
think it's not necessarily the case, because like I had a listing priced at 700, not 699, because TK wouldn't like that, so it was priced at 700, and we reduced the price to at 700 we were getting offers at 600 to 620, and we couldn't get them above that. So I was like, okay, that's got to be market value. And I said, you know what? It still seems light to me, so let's reduce the price. The seller's like, I want to hammer the price down. Let's put it at 650. At 650, it goes into multiple offers. Right? So is the price actually 620, or was the person asking too much that they were disqualifying themselves from getting an A buyer that was ready to pay 650? That's probably more realistic. The thing that I'm trying to get people to understand right now is or the agents to try and understand right now, is that I think prices are lower than we think they are.
No, but do you get
Agreed.
that in Toronto?
Agents perspective, because our data's old, is the same. Is also too high.
You got 10,400 square foot units here. Okay. And
we don't.
How many do we have?
I'll tell you.
Forget what's on the MLS. You know,
don't make stuff up, Darryl. This is a serious show. Don't start throwing around
don't
numbers
forget,
that aren't true.
Include unsold inventory that's finished and it's sitting on builders' books or has inventory loans on them right now. Where do you get that stat
from?
It's out there. There's thousands of them, and there's more coming, because as these buildings finish off, you have a whole new bunch of investors that never planned on closing that either have to close or figure out how to get the fuck out of this thing.
Stupid real estate in the first place.
Doesn't matter. This is still coming, and it's adding to a pile that's not getting smaller. It's going to get bigger. And so, yeah, maybe there's people that want to buy stuff, but all that there is out there and all that's coming online is tiny pieces of shit that was way overpaid for, and it hasn't been absorbed. Even the decent stuff like from 2019 and 20 that maybe get out okay, that stuff's just starting to close. So you have all kinds of shit coming down the pipe that there has to be a fallout from this, because if you don't sell the current inventory, whatever the number is, and you add more to it and time to it, like what is that going to do to the pricing, right? Meanwhile, Tom says 10% gets it moving, but I can't even imagine why you would buy a unit.
I think your perspective is always skewed towards the development side and the new construction side, and ours as resale agents is always.
It's just in the mix. It's in the mix, right?
So it's not necessarily the same thing. I get that. Like my competition is not. Like, I don't sell new units. Yeah. I don't even show you new units most of the time. Like it's two different worlds.
But now you compete with them, right? Now it's a tighter market. Now people that
after
were
closing,
right now you're competing because it's
So, Darryl, there's currently, as of us recording this, there's 8,064 properties for sale in the city of Toronto that have a condo fee
on the MLS.
On the MLS.
Whoa!
That's been like that for a while.
That's a stratified property. Now go 500 square feet.
So that's what I'm going to give you.
416 only.
That's 416 only.
Yeah.
For units under 500 square feet, there's 590 on the market. So if you give me a sec, I'll give you that percentage.
That's it.
That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. It's not
90.
That's it.
Out of
8,000. Between the four of us, we could buy the whole inventory.
Go under 650. Okay, what's the next level up?
It's
what's the
5
next
to
level?
599 or 6 to 699.
Fine, go to the next one. It's all in there. It's got to all be in there.
So I'll tell you. Hold on. I'm gonna add up the 499, the under 500 and 5 to 600.
I can't believe you guys do your square footage that way. Like we have to put our exact square footage.
We just changed that like this year, a couple months ago.
So except you can't search for it differently.
Okay, there you go. So, Darryl, under 600 square feet, there is 1,715 condos for sale.
So
there's
now
like
we're
an
at like
extra
2,200 or something.
seven or
Out of
right?
800 in there.
8,000.
What?
So
I think it's better when we just talk over each other. That way nobody knows what's happening.
That's right. It's more like the traditional
Should have
show.
been called the Talk Over Each Other podcast.
Talk on the table. Talk over the table. Talk over the table podcast.
So, Darryl, that 21% of condos currently available for sale in the city of Toronto that are under 600 square feet, that's the number. It's 21% of the current listings available for sale are sub 600 square feet.
So how many is that? Like, how are those getting absorbed now? This is
That's
the question.
1,700 out of 8,000 essentially is the math.
So how big are all the rest of them?
That's what I've been trying to tell people. There's
the
biggest chunk of the resale inventory for condos is 2 bedrooms. That makes up the biggest portion of the entire market.
So why aren't they moving?
Well, 2 beds are moving. They're like the best of the worst right now.
But they're 2 bedrooms that are 600 square feet. That's fucking shit. That's not even
in newer buildings. Yes.
It's not even a bachelor apartment, 600 square feet. Like, to put 2 bedrooms in is fucking crazy. Who wants this shit? This is the problem. The people that were buying the stuff to rent it to the people that had no other options, they're not the buyers, right? The buyer is the person that wants to live in it. And they go there and they go, what the fuck is this shit? How am I supposed to live here? Right? How can anybody live in this? And then you don't get parking. And like nowadays, I don't know, is there even any good properties around? What's like is there a good story out there? Is there like a good property that you've sold that actually like everybody was happy and made some money?
Yeah, but they bought it before 2019.
Right.
That's the story for condos. For condos.
Okay. Yeah. But like when I'm looking at, like going out into larger property myself, 20,000 square feet plus to acreage. That stuff's all through the roof in in Langley and in.
Did you just say you're buying a 20,000 square foot house with acreage for yourself?
Not house.
Oh,
the lot, 20,000 square feet. Like going out into the even more suburbs, almost the sticks, almost the farmland, and going out and looking at that stuff. That stuff's actually on fire because the people that have money have money.
Right.
And so they can buy they can go buy a $3 million property, 20,000 square foot lot with a 5,000 square foot house on it. Yeah. And they'll pay $3 million for it. And everybody, those are actually in short supply.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Again, no, priced right, not priced the same way it was a few years ago. Right.
Priced higher than peak pricing.
Priced higher than peak pricing.
Yeah.
Wow. We don't have that anywhere here.
No. We have that in the high end luxury boutique condo market for sure.
Pre-construction maybe, but not in the resale. Not on the resale houses or the resale.
Like newer condos. Within the last 10-year construction, big lots.
Yeah.
Where people want to leave the city and go
to
still the city.
Insane.
They're higher than I was looking at them previously, like because I was looking at them also at the peak of the market. Thank goodness I didn't do that. But now I'm going, maybe it wasn't, thank goodness, because they're still higher. Like they're actually a really desirable property still. So I don't know. It's
I think your project is going to be really good because me and Steve were talking with Winston Chan from Tridel on our show recently. He's the senior VP of sales.
Okay.
And their Aqua Luna stuff and well stuff that's in the 2 millions, they're selling.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's downsizers buying all of it. That's the people that are buying the high end condo stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, if people are buying shit like that in the well and people are buying stuff like that in, these typical downtown kind of buildings, I mean, imagine when it's a unique offering with gigantic suites and all the luxuries on the planet. This thing's a home run. It's so weird to even think it. I'm telling you, I was just talking to somebody today, an appraiser actually called me today. I wrote an article a couple weeks ago about appraisers and how the whole appraisal process sucks balls and appraisers suck, and it was like a whole thing. And so I was talking to the guy and I was telling him I live in a bubble right now because my deals, thank God, are actual viable deals still in this environment today, right? I don't know what's going to be in 6 months, but at the moment, this product is still moving, which is crazy. And even for the new one, the purpose-built rental that I just closed on, TK, did I send you this? There was a lease that just went through in the new building in Rosedale. They got $26,000 a month on the lease for a 2,400 square foot apartment. Yeah, over 10
It's like
bucks a
$11 or
foot.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
crazy.
10.50.
And this happened 3 days ago in a brand new building, 20 stories. So I'm telling you, this market is like bananas. And I think Steve said, like, people with money, they have money. They have
There's
more
always
money
rich
than
people.
ever. Well,
Yeah. They
listen,
have more
back,
money than ever. They're less impacted, but they're still smart. They know what they're dealing with, and that I'm negotiating with a big one right now, and it's not pretty. I'm telling
no,
you, those people know what they're doing.
no, they're smart. And so back
Yeah.
in 2008, when I was building these McMansions, right, and I got caught, I thought that the theory was that rich people will still buy, right? The problem is I didn't have a very unique product. I had just a typical house in a good area. It was brand new, and it just blended into the woodwork with everything else that was out there on the market at the time. But rich people want something special, right? And they want it badly if they want it. And so thank God those people are still making money. And from what I gather, their biggest concern is not interest rates so much for themselves because they buy cash, but the direction that the interest rates are going. Right. So if rates are going down, they're a lot more likely to buy stuff. But when they're going up, they put the brakes on. So, you can have a recession where rates are going up, and you can have a recession where rates are going down, depending on what else is going on. Right. So sometimes the wealthy people will buy and sometimes they won't. And if you guess wrong, you're fucked, right? Like more fucked than other people. Because I'm chugging forward assuming, everything's rosy in an environment where nothing is rosy, right? So if something else changes that affects the super wealthy people, then it becomes just another deal that you can't sell because the environment's fucked.
Mm.
I don't really see that happening. I mean, we've got World War III. We've got like AI taking over the planet. We've got no sales in Toronto. We've got like the only like is nothing good is happening right now. The world's a disaster. The governments are all a fucking nightmare, right? There's flooding. Did you see what happened in China? TK, you must have seen what happened in China. Are you fucking for real? None of you guys saw what happened in China?
Well, tell us, Darryl.
This is your TK, your Chinese correspondent. I don't
Yeah,
understand how you would know what's
Listen.
happening.
I'm boots on the
TK has
ground real estate here.
deep ties
Okay.
to China. TK is
What
a
happened though?
spy. Oh my God. The biggest flooding I've ever seen in my life. I can't
Yeah.
believe you guys haven't heard about this. There's some crazy flooding that just happened.
Bigger
all
than that
over.
Noah one?
Like on a proportion close to Noah.
My
Okay.
contacts might be in different regions, so like they might be
Well, it's a
reporting
big
things
place.
differently.
It's a big
Yeah,
place.
it's a big
China.
country. It's a big country. They got a
Okay.
lot of stuff going on.
No, but
So-
there's a lot of weird shit going on. And so, like, is there anything positive that we can pull together from this group of bandits today?
What's with all the negativity though? Like everything's crap. I don't think everything's crap. My life's
I,
pretty good.
Surrey, BC.
well, listen,
Yeah,
when
I'm
you're
just
a,
saying.
when
I'm
you're
saying.
a top YouTube real estate agent, of course,
That's such a funny term.
right? Of course, you're gonna think things are good, but like, there's the other agents and the other people that are deeply affected.
Yeah. I think like a bad year for most of us on this is the best year for a lot of people
Yeah,
in our industry, right? And I think I'm very, very grateful for that and understand. And listen, like it's not going to get better anytime soon in terms of the amount of work that we have to put in. And there's certainly no pity party happening for real estate agents, especially not online.
We had it
It's
good
not-
for a long time.
yeah, like that's
So,
it's all
yeah.
good. This is what
time
it
to
is.
work. That's it.
It's
Yep.
and we're getting things done, and it takes a lot of time and effort, but it's not changing. It doesn't matter if Bank of Canada cuts 2 or 3 more times. It doesn't matter. Nothing's going to change.
No,
No.
you don't
Stop
think
lying
that
about the bank cutting. The market doesn't turn around until the bank stops cutting for at least 6 months.
Yeah, cutting means
So
it's
if we
not
have another
great,
cut,
right?
that's a worse thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
If we can hold this for 6 more months, then we'll start to look at, okay, maybe things start to turn around. I mean, the reality is
Yeah.
you can't get much lower in number of sales than where we're at now. So
Let's-
it's like, what's the happiest day of the year for you? there's a way to think that it's like December 21st because it's the darkest day of the year, and tomorrow when you wake up, it's going to be a little bit brighter. And it does that all the way, and then everybody's happy in June. But June 21st comes around, and then the next day starts to get a little bit darker, a little bit earlier. Right? Does that make sense? Like it's there's
I
going
feel
to be
depressed
that.
now. I
Yeah,
feel like
there you go.
I honestly thought like the answer
You thought the
that
summer was going to be great.
I was
but
just gonna
you're
say
buying at
today.
the
Like,
peak
what's the
right now.
happiest day? I'm like today. Today is the happiest day of my life. But
I
now
feel,
it's past June 21st now. Now it's all downhill from here.
I
So-
feel like Steve just stole my soul right there. Right? Like he just sucked the life out of me with that.
Until December 21st. And
Yeah.
then the whole thing it picks up again for the rest of the year.
Which is
More
weird.
importantly, Steve, just because you haven't been on our show since, congratulations on your jiu-jitsu tournament.
My losses. I appreciate
Okay,
that. No
that's
problem.
okay. You participated. You were there. You went up against what
I was
appeared
the
to
only
be a
guy to not
man
get submitted by
on
that guy that day.
testosterone
So.
replacement therapy, but
Longest black eye ever.
you did well. You did well. You got there. And you learned, right? You got right back training
Yeah,
again.
you
and
know what?
you're,
That was an experience I will never forget.
and you're back
I
there. And
think
you're waiting for the next one, right?
You know what? There's a full Masters tournament a year
Yeah.
from now.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about entering
Perfect.
that one. But
Perfect.
it was interesting.
Master
It was,
Worlds. That's where you should go.
I was not expecting
Vegas.
to look like I got in a car accident by the end of that tournament, but
Sometimes we get hurt. Sometimes there's some injuries.
You did. I
You
have
know,
I
one.
think we should pitch these guys against each other when next time I'm out in Toronto.
Me and Daryl.
Me and
we go
Tom.
take-
No,
yeah.
he'll fight
Bro,
dirty. I'm not
Forget
interested.
about it. I can't even move right now. I've been in traction for 4 days because I keep playing baseball and it's not going well. This body
Man,
doesn't
hurting
work so
baseball
much.
jiu-
Daryl
Jiu-jitsu
needs
is
a
definitely
pinch,
not
a
for you.
pinch grappler. He
I need
can't
a
do it
pinch
himself.
everything.
He's got.
Yeah.
He's gonna have someone. Tom, you also can use a pinch grappler if you want. So
I
let's just
take
do some
TK.
cockfighting. You bring whoever you want. Daryl brings whoever he wants, and then we'll see who wins.
Well, I'm
Represent
not
both sides.
participating in anything that has the word cock in it with any of you, just so you know. But I have one last question for all three of you. And I think that, I mean, nobody really learns anything here, but we can now, TK. We're going to take this opportunity because I think it's important to ask top agents like the three of you. And there's no joking when, I mean, you guys are all top agents. There's no doubt about that. What are you guys doing in your business right now with AI that is helping you that you can kind of like give a tip to people out there? Because I think right now it's like I can't imagine people not using AI to their advantage, right? People may not be doing it because they don't know or they don't know what to do because they think it's just stupid. But I mean, I use AI every day. I must save, I don't even know, tens of thousands of dollars in all kinds of like legal fees and marketing fees and all kinds of stuff. So what are you guys doing with AI today that helps you in your real estate career?
The one thing that's kind of cool is what I'm doing now, and I got this from another agent that gave me this idea, is when I have a listing presentation, I will put in the house or the condo address to ChatGPT and I'll say, hey, I'm going to meet with this seller. You know, I have a presentation I give to them, but based on this area and this price point, who do you think the buyer is going to be? And it will spit out who they think the ideal buyer is, grouping, so that I meet with the seller, I can say, hey, these are the three potential people that are buying your place. Let's talk about ways that we can market to them. So that's one way that I found it very helpful going to presentations with sellers.
That's a cool one.
Cool.
Steve?
I mean, I have ChatGPT open all day, but I'm usually asking it questions or asking it how to format something or rewriting something better. Because I'll put like, you know, property descriptions, right? You put in all the points. I do the same property description every single time, gets boring. So let's spruce this up one way or another. I don't know, because I think when you're asking that question, I think people are looking for like some advantage to like do more deals. And AI is not at a point yet where it's going to replace you talking to a client in person about the value of their home. So it may give you little tools to meet more people, like the stuff we use it for our videos. Like when I type a video, the first 30 seconds, I'll run it through ChatGPT and just be like, okay, I need to make this more entertaining for the viewer, right? Give me a script for that or whatever. But there's not like, you know, anybody that thinks AI is going to replace the agent in its current capacity is not the case. So I don't know that I think I use it just as much in any life circumstance the same way I do in a business circumstance. I'll just try and refine what I've already wanted to do through Chat GPT is the one I use. Right. So I'll just say, hey, this is what I want to do. What am I not thinking about?
Make
Or
me sound smarter.
how can I do
Yeah,
it better?
enhancement. It's an
Or
enhancer.
how do I break this down so I can explain it to, a fifth grader, which is where most people want to be explained things to. It's not actually, you don't want to be smarter because then you don't sound, well, you wouldn't sound like me if I said make it smarter.
Yeah.
Right. Because I don't say anything intelligently. But I just don't think it's there to a spot where it's really going to revolutionize anything yet, because you still got to get there and do the work. I mean, I went to my new office the other day to see how many people were down there before I move in. You want to
got
know
a
the
new office.
quietest place in the world
A real estate office.
is a real estate office on a Friday morning in July. Like,
Except for a Monday morning.
pretty quiet place. Monday's definitely busier. There's like two
Really?
or three people in.
Got a new office, Darryl. Things are looking up here for
Yeah, my
for
new
that.
office is actually my old office. So we'll
New
see.
office, buy an acreage with
How about TK?
thousands of square feet. Yeah, what do
What's
you
the
do?
Frank
I did
Leo
an
team
NDA
doing
this
with-
morning. I did an NDA. I had to, get an NDA typed up. So I used Chat GPT for that. I use it. Yeah, descriptions.
And how did it do? Like, that's where I think the real value is. Like,
Way
Huge.
better than I would have done it if I just typed it on my own.
Yeah.
So, that's the bottom line.
yeah. Like, if I'm
Right?
going to
I'm
court for like a
surprised.
court sale and I have to do an affidavit, I'll be like, this is what I want to say. Now make it worthy of being an affidavit in court.
Right? Yeah,
And
exactly.
then
Yeah.
it'll redo it.
Sounds super professional. Right?
God, I use it for so many things. What were you saying you use it for, TK? Just
I said I did an NDA this morning.
yeah.
Yeah, but I do the description. I do the descriptions. I'll type in my version and I'll say, hey, throw me out some other versions of this and capitalize the first letter of every word and all these type of things and just see what comes out. And sometimes it's pretty good.
Yeah.
We've got a coach. We've got our coach on all of our calls. We've got a coach that listens to all of our calls and then gives us feedback and tells us, it's called Shiloh. It tells us if we talked, how much talk time we listen, how much we talked, how much we listened. It tells us if we asked questions, if we set up another appointment with them at the end of the call, right? So there's an AI analyzing each one of our calls to give us
Oh my
feedback
God.
on the calls,
Imagine if it analyzed this podcast.
Oh God.
right?
What
Well,
would it
I mean,
say?
we definitely don't follow the rules anyway, so we might
What
read
is
it,
this
but we
show
would,
about? This show is about talking over Darryl. That's
Yeah,
what this show
it,
is
Yeah.
about.
it literally would not be able to make out half the conversation. God,
all good.
I use it for so many things, and it's so great at so many things. It's horrible at a lot of things too. But I mean, if used properly, I mean, I would definitely 100% have an employee right now if I didn't have Chat GPT doing all the stuff. I
Yeah.
definitely would have legal bills that are way higher than they currently are, and definitely marketing bills way higher than and I think I'm able to produce more stuff as well. And I think it enhances the stuff that I produce. Right. I use it for all kinds of stuff. So, like, for example, just this past week, I was negotiating a contract with somebody, and it's a pretty tricky contract. It's not typical, although it's like an arrangement that's been done many times. None of the lawyers knew how to do it. And until Chat GPT showed everybody the way, right?
Mhm.
Nobody else knew how to do this thing. And I was like, I know that it's possible, right? And everybody was telling me you can't do it this way. And these are like good lawyers. They do this every day. But ChatGPT has so much knowledge in it. It's crazy. Now, if I didn't know some stuff, I'd be screwed, right? Like, you have to know what it's pumping out. You can't just take it, whatever it gives you, and just put that out into the world, because a lot of stuff is wrong or embellished or whatever. Like, it needs massaging. But holy shit, like, if you want a good clause for an APS, you just type in like the idea and say, pretend you're a real estate lawyer in Ontario and give me a clause for a lease back from, and it'll give you the most perfect clause ever. It's insane.
Actually, now that you mentioned that, there's one specific time I can think of that I did that. So I was in a business dealing, not a real estate transaction, but a business dealing. And the person I was trying to do business with, it was going south very, very quickly. And so I typed up my email, and the email was not nice. And so then I cut and paste the email into ChatGPT, and I told it, I said, listen, this is what I want to say.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to offend the other person so that the deal doesn't work. Like, this is my business partner. I'm trying to keep them on side.
Yeah.
Help me keep them on board.
Yeah.
2 seconds later, comes out, cut and paste that in, like you say, edit a couple of things. So it's obviously from me rather than ChatGPT. And the response back, put the deal together. I would have lost that. If it was up to me, I would have been so offended that I would have lost that opportunity.
Yeah. 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 I use it for emails all the time. I type in, like, make it sound more professional. Because, I mean, TK gets emails from me all the time. They're far from professional, right? They're just short to the point. But a lot of people, that doesn't work good. That actually gets me in trouble.
Come to say that now, actually, there's a lot of, it's in Google and it's in our follow-up boss, like options. Like it's like, introduction or like follow-up. Like it just gives you these options on like how do you want to respond to this? And I think you can press on the button, see what it says. If you like it, use it. If not, edit it and type again. So I think, there's lots of options.
I think that's the portion of real estate that it will take over, is the contract writing portion.
Oh yeah. The admin stuff,
which is
all the admin stuff.
Something that we'd kind of handled already in the past, right? It's not like you get a lawyer to type every agreement.
Yeah, most often the associations will have like their standardized clauses they want you to use anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm going to end the show for us, boys, just so I'm the guy. You guys are all busy. I know that. Steve's got houses to sell. Tom and I have price reductions to work on. And Darryl is going to go do some more research on AI.
That's right. I'm in the airy fairyland in my bubble.
But, we got to do this again. Like we've done. What have we done? We've done live at Tom's house, his old place. Yep. The four of us on your show. We've done on your show, the four of us through online.
The last episode crushed, by the way, when you guys were on our show. People
now our most listened to episode on Spotify, by the way.
Is you guys.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And we've now done a 4.
We do make your show much
on
better.
Our show on Zoom. So the next show, really, what we should do is a live on our show. But we're gonna need help like with the setup because I don't think we have that many microphones.
Live on our show.
We have them.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
In person.
That sounds like.
Or sorry, did I say live? I mean in person. Yeah.
In person.
We can do live too, but that's the next step for us.
We have to go somewhere for that. Like that needs to be a thing.
Yeah,
we'll bring
a camera crew, and then we'll also go straight from there to the gym, and we can pit these two guys against each other.
Perfect.
Oh my god!
I carry mats in my trunk, so I can always just like pull them out anywhere.
Why don't we do the podcast in the ring? We'll have like a Royal Rumble,
something like that. Let's do something like that. Something different for our show.
I will definitely sacrifice myself so people in this world can see what a brown belt 10-year jiu-jitsu practitioner, probably 8 years, 7 years. What do you even? Versus a fat old guy with barely any training.
I'm sure there's lots of YouTube videos to find out what that looks like already.
But it would be fun to watch.
I had a guy from my team. He said to me he wanted to go against me on the mats, right? So he came to like 2 classes. Right? He's a big guy too.
That's the max class.
He's bigger than me. Yeah. And so I said, okay, I'll let you start in any position you want. And I said, the best position you should start in is a fully locked rear naked choke. That would be the best position to start in, which is like your trump card in jiu-jitsu. And so I said, go to the lunch class and the teacher will show you how to finish it at lunch class. And then when you come and see me later in that day, you can use exactly what you learned at lunch to beat me. And we'll set you up the whole entire way, fully locked, everything like that. I was like, this is the position I'll give you. And this guy's much stronger and bigger than me. So I said, let's do it this way. So he sets it up. Unfortunately, he told everybody at work that he was going to go do this. And then everyone wanted to know the results. And I escaped in 2 seconds, submitted him. He had to go for shoulder surgery.
Oh, no.
So it didn't work out too good for him.
Wait a minute. You let him fully lock one in? Like hand was behind the head and everything.
There was nothing that you could not have done better. Everything.
Sounds very gay, right, Tom?
And so within 2 seconds,
so gay. It's crazy.
And his
you know why I go to jiu-jitsu
out of there, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I know exactly.
I go to jiu-jitsu because I have a wife and 2 daughters at home, and no one hugs me, so I have to go down the street and pay a
hugs
bunch
from behind.
You got to lock cocks with TK. Or what are you guys doing?
We don't do front hugs, but there's a lot of hugs from behind.
Yeah. Holy. Well, clearly Tom and I are far more masculine than the two of you, even though you're both built.
You guys are goalies.
Clearly.
That's right. Are you a goalie too, Tom?
Yeah, explains a lot, doesn't
It
it?
explains. Are you a lefty? Are you a southpaw?
No. Catch
No.
with.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tom is a goalie. This explains something, right?
it
This is why
does. It actually does.
you
That's
gotta
what I
be
was telling everybody.
gotta be
Mark Carney
mental.
was a goalie. That's my only concern.
Oh goodness gracious, that's your only
Well, we can do a
concern with him?
shootout on the ice and a showdown on the mats and figure out what we got to do to, decide who is the real #1 real estate podcast
Loser
in
buys
Canada
Tom
for
a
real.
new microphone.
Loser buys
Yeah,
Tom a
sorry.
new
Clearly.
microphone.
Clearly.
Hopefully the audio wasn't terrible. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
Horrendous, but that's okay.
Boys, we appreciate you coming on the show as always.
Thank you.
We'll catch you in the comments and good luck with your clients because you'll need it.
You're gonna need it.
This shit is taking 5 years.